Hello, my name is Jennifer, and I'm going to give you a little bit of information about how to take care of your Persian cat. This is Emma, and Emma is an adorable, wonderful little Persian. She is beautiful. She's adorable. She came to me declawed in the front because the people who had her before declawed her, which I am completely against. She also is toothless. And the reason she's toothless is because she was not given proper dental care and her teeth got infected and rotted and she had to have her teeth pulled because the infection was killing her. She is an absolutely sweet, adorable, and lovable little Persian. Her name is Emma and she is wonderful and absolutely, they are the most wonderful pets you could ever have in your life. But if you look at Emma's face up close, you can see that she has a tiny little flat face. She is less than 6 pounds and it's very hard for her to eat her food. So I'm going to give a little lesson in how to take care of Persian cats. It is very important that you know this information if you're going to adopt one or if you're going to buy one and bring one home, because their faces are so flat that they need special care in feeding. So I will give you an example right now of how to take care of one. I'm going to show you the kind of dishes that you're going to need for your Persian. This little dish right here is like a Japanese dipping plate. You can see there's a little bit of a lip to it, and it's hard to see exactly the size, but the size of this is about 3.5 inches across. And so this is the kind of dish that I feed Emma in. This is what I put her wet food in. She eats wet food because she's toothless, and that's what she eats every single day. And what I do is I mash up the food in here, put in some water, and serve her in this cup. I have bought her a coffee cup because when I sit this little plate inside the coffee cup, she doesn't have to lean over. It's very, very comfortable, and it's not too deep for her face. When you look at her face and you realize how a Persian has to eat, they cannot have really, really deep bowls or deep dishes or skinny dishes because their nose won't fit in it. They have a very flat mouth like a Cheshire cat, and they just can't get into it. So you have to think in terms of their needs and make sure that you're supplying exactly what they need to be able to drink out of. For a drinking dish, I have this little bowl here that's a little bit, it's deeper than this one for her food. This one right here is for her water. Then I'll put her water again in another dish like this, set it in there so it's up a little higher, and fill the water all the way to the top. I do use distilled water, and I would encourage you to go to your store and use distilled water for your cats because the first thing to go on a cat is their kidneys. They tend to go into renal failure ahead of everything else. And distilled water, just like it does for you, they don't have to work as hard. Their kidneys don't have to work as hard to when they are drinking distilled water. And it actually can prevent kidney disease and some other problems that can help them out a lot. The other thing I'm going to bring to your attention is when you have a Persian, you do have to think of their face in every single regard. You have to understand that the litter, you want it to be fairly dust-free, because if it has a lot of dust in it, when they kick it around, they sneeze and they inhale it, and it's really hard on their little nasal passages and can cause problems for them. The other thing to bring up in regards to taking care of a cat is, again, distilled water makes a big difference. If they're drinking distilled water, it helps them out a lot in terms of keeping their kidneys healthy. And on top of that, another thing to bring to your attention is a product called Standard Process. This particular one is Feline Whole Body Support, but the one that I use the most and use it every day for Emma is Feline Renal Support. You can find it at a really good veterinary's office. It's hard to read right here, but again, this is Feline Renal Support by Standard Process. If you go to a really great vet, especially a naturopathic vet, you'll tend to be able to find this renal support for your kitty. What I do with this one is I take out one of the little tablets And I put it in this little bowl. Then I take the distilled water and I put a little tiny bit of distilled water in the bottom, just kind of a splash of it. And then I take a fork from my drawer here and I mash it up with the fork in the water. Once I get it all nice and mashed up and let it soak for a couple minutes, it's going to turn into a brown kind of grainy water. It'll still have a little bit of graininess to it, but it begins to dissolve more and more and more in the water. Then I get a nice syringe here, and the syringe that I buy, you can get it from your vet, and I take the syringe and I pull up this vitamin water with the syringe, and then I'm going to go to Emma and I'm going to open her mouth just a little bit and slowly, slowly, slowly syringe it into her mouth. And as I syringe it into her mouth, she will take it down. She's really good about that. This helps their kidneys dramatically. If you think your kitty might be getting older, if they start to get like 10 years old or so, or they have the potential of any kidney problems, I really recommend this. Buy the feline renal support, break it up in the water, take it up into the syringe, and syringe maybe a couple of these in your kitty's mouth. Ask your vet what they prescribe, but that's what I've been doing. It's really been helping Emma's kidneys recover quite a bit. This wet food that I have right here is called Go. It's Go Kitty Food. It's a wet food, and it definitely has been helping her kidneys as well. But I really recommend, when you get a Persian, you do need to recognize too that they're very sensitive, they're very loving, and they're very, very sensitive to their environment. So they need a quiet environment, not a lot of noise, not a lot of drama, not a lot of stuff going on. And they also will bond with you very, very deeply. These are cats that are super sweet, super loving. They're quiet, and they really like the emotional connection with their people. Unlike the character that I've created with Emma that's a little bit persnickety, she's actually the sweetest, most adorable, wonderful little person you'd ever meet in your life. So, if you're a very sensitive person and you want a great relationship with a wonderful animal, go and look on a rescue site and look up a rescue Persian, take them home, love on them, give them a wonderful life, but do make sure that you have the proper plates and the proper bowls for a Persian so you can take good care of them. And just recognize that it's important that you're sensitive to the way they need to eat and the fact that their faces are flat, and that's your responsibility, is to give them the kind of dishes that they need. So, signing off, this is Emma and I, thanking you for any support or adoption you give to wonderful little people like Emma.